Sheena Ringo, yes, we are here. Our track by track listen through to all of her music continues with the third studio album. Now, I'm just going to cover a couple of things before we jump into this because I know it's her third studio album in order, but a few people might have actually said, well, wait, Howard, chronologically, she had a cover album before this one. I did ask people in my last video, we had a little bit of a discussion about it in the comments, because I said that I really want to focus a lot on the progression of her original material first of all, and then things like cover albums and such like, that's something I can come back around to later. So I am going to come back around to that cover album, but I'm continuing really with the core studio creative output of Sheena Ringo. I must also say I did check the track list of the cover album, and most of the songs not songs that I really know, so I'd have to do a huge amount of research for that anyway. So I thought, no, let's carry on the journey of her actual original creative material. And that brings us on to the third album, which I've got to be honest, I'm excited about this for other reasons. Now, the album, which goes by the name Karazuki Zamen Kuri no Hana, which is Cork Samen Chestnut Flower. I don't know what Cork Samen is. Anyway, there's a lot of words in here that I do not know. This is an album that I only know what has been kind of implied about it. The things that maybe I've inferred about it. That this is the album that apparently is where really her creativity finally kind of hit the peak point. It's the third in what appears to be an opening trilogy of albums from Sheena Ringo. The first album, Musai Moratorium, was 100% an album that felt very raw, earnest. It had that sort of youthful sense of urgency, but also a feeling that the songs were very creatively vibrant, almost in this chaotic way that seemed to be the product of someone who was finding what they wanted to do in just amazingly expressive ways. Then we moved on to the second album, Show So Strip, which I've only really finished listening to that a couple of days ago, and I'm still kind of getting my head around how I feel about that. But it's definitely an album where you felt like she wanted to try new things, where production came in. You still got a lot of the things we liked about the first album, but it felt like an attempt to expand upon it. Now, from what I've heard, this third album is where she, like I say, goes full on with the creativity. And it's rather interesting because you can't help but notice that obviously the sales figure was quite a bit lower for this album than it was for the two directly preceding it. And another thing which obviously grabbed my eye is looking through. Now, I know that Sheena Ringo doesn't always put her music videos on her official playlists, but it's interesting that there's not a single music video anywhere on the official Sheena Ringo channel playlist for this. I mean, we had stuff like Identity before. I know it's not always there, but I was kind of intrigued. So I had a look at the album details and found out that the album technically only had one single. The song Stem, which is later in the progression. So anyway, yeah, we're looking at an album. This came out a year after. Oh no, that's not right. That's the cover album. I think Show So Strip came out in 2000 actually, didn't it? So I think this is 3 years afterwards. The last album. I am just different producer as well. I am really intrigued to see what we get from this. My expectations are maybe a little bit high because so much of it on paper sounds like something I'm going to enjoy, but I'm going to be realistic. As always, I'll be 100% honest. And here we are, ready to jump in with the very first song, which is called Shukyo, or Religion. Great opening volley. I'm really excited about this, says the atheist as he listens to a song called Religion. Anyway, let's jump in. I am aware, I haven't done too much research into it, but I'm aware of things like the fact that I know there is like a track symmetry idea going on here. This was something I first noticed on the last album, and I believe that's a big part of this album. But I'm going to kind of clear that from my head and not overly focus on that unless something really feels like it's I'm gonna wait for things to feel like hints to feel like they're coming across in the music rather than looking at the guide and going, oh, this song matches with this one. I'm gonna wait, and if two songs feel like they match up, I'll let you know, and we'll see if it matches what the Wikipedia entry says. I remember when everyone used to be like, oh, you checked it on Wikipedia, that's really unreliable. Those same people now check everything on AI. Anyway, let's jump in. I'm looking forward to this. This is the opening of the third Sheena Ringo Studio Originals album. Let's go. loving the chaos. It's all the craziness from the last album, production-wise, but it already feels much crisper. But there's that distortion again. So far, so Sheena Ringo. That's really beautiful. I love this section's been given time to breathe as well. I love how that beat's just woven through. That's really beautiful. That's really lovely, yeah. And it sets you up so well for the drop back in. Yeah, some close-up distorted, like string sounds there. I feel like the production's so much better implemented here straight away. This kind of slightly creepy, hellish little choir here is... it's nicely creepy. I feel like we're feeding into the next song, aren't we? Oh, just stopping right before the next song. Okay, this was genuinely. There's so much to say about this. Right, first things first. Yeah, I think I am going to enjoy this album. This is only one track in, but I get the feeling this is just kind of giving me all the right vibes. You know, an intro song is supposed to set you up for what the rest of the album is going to be. It is an introduction to the album. I mean, as I said, the beginning of Musai Moratorium. Oh, chef's kiss. That is just such a way to start an album. And then when we started Shoujo Strip, I was a little bit more kind of on the back foot about, oh, okay, where are we going? This is kind of cool, but there was things that I wasn't sure about. For me, there's so much about this that seems to have taken the things we love about that first album, those first couple of albums, and move forwards them. So first things first, how does it function as an intro? It's nice. It's low-key. It's not like some big fanfare kind of intro. It's more like an intro that comes in with a very confident energy. It's not shouting, screaming, and hollering its presence. It's instead sort of calmly and authoritatively walking into the room. And that's what I like about the energy of this. It has a confidence, but it has sort of a confidence at the same time as carrying this obviously much more, how should we say, subversive kind of Sheena Ringo vibe as well. But you know, the song feels confident in everything it does, and a lot of that comes through from the fact that once again Sheena Ringo is writing in that Sheena Ringo style, but the production elements that we heard introduced in Shoujo Strip that felt a little bit like playing around with something and following kind of the style of the day, but trying to be experimental, and kind of a little bit of a strange thing was going on with the production of Shoujo Strip. This just feels much more like it just leans fully into it. We haven't got like the not so much over the top compression and things like that. A lot of the sounds are just kind of like a little sound will come in here, a little sound will come in there. It's very much just a case of you're just allowed to almost bathe your ears in all these interesting little sounds that occur. And the song, once again, does follow a lot of the Sheena Ringo styles of old songwriting wise. I mean, this is a song that very clearly has its kind of slightly dirty riff based, you know, sort of dum 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 kind of walking bass line sort of vibe in the verses, where everything's got a little bit of a strut. It's got a little bit of a how to put it, kind of like, I think I used the phrase blues jazz kind of vibe to it, a blues rock vibe to it. The verses have got that, and then the choruses tend to be these much more sort of swooning melodic affairs, which again is very much something that Sheena Ringo does in quite a few of her songs. So that's a familiar thing that's come back. But again, just the execution here feels really good. I like that when you're in that verse bit, it's kind of got like, you've got the distorted drums that are very signature for her. You've got the strange production on her voice where she's not just like a voice sitting in the middle singing normally, she's singing in almost a way that makes her voice part of the production. You've got these pain sounding guitars. It's all very sort of grungy and stompy. And so, you know, the bass is again very much walking and you know, it's very much got that kind of funk to it. But then when we get to the chorus, I really love that. I love the use of the orchestra behind her voice. I love the way that that just sort of flows so perfectly. The way that her vocals and the instrumental just marry really well together. And this all comes around from being writing a fantastic melody, but also writing an orchestration to suit it. But what's good about this bit is, of course, we've gone into this moment here, and then that beat in the background, that it's kind of got this sort of strange, like, oh, it's not a drum machine, but it feels like a drum machine. It feels like this weird trippy things kind of coming in there. And what's nice about that is it doesn't intrude. You're still allowed to be feeling like you're in the calm, almost soundtracky part of the song, but it's just kind of like tickling on you on the ear and going, yep, something's about to come, something's about to come, wait for that thing to drop in, wait for that thing to drop in. It's just there, sort of tickling at the side of your ear, just a little bit occasionally. Here's a little bit of reminder, stop. Here's a little bit of reminder, stop. And then and at the same time, clarinets, you've got mandolins, it's all very beautiful. One of the things I actually like about using the mandolin in this bit Sorry, why am I doing that? One of the things I'm like about using the mandolin at this bit is because the mandolin, by its very style of playing, is kind of it's very much off of the rhythm. It's not a particularly like a rhythmic kind of instrument, and yet at the same time, the drums are letting you know, oh yeah, the beat's about to come back in, the beat's about to come in. And while you're hearing that being implied, you're hearing these other instruments which are much more carefree, and the mandolin's playing of a quick little offbeat strum, and the strings are playing delicately, and yet at the same time, yeah, the beat's coming back, the beat's coming back. And it's so cool because when it comes back in, it just sort of like cuts through beautifully because it's been alluded to in that previous section so clearly. I really like that. And then, she does a great job of like building up the variation even more because, of course, we've got like the distorted rhythm again, screeching guitars, and then back into the beautiful classical part. Again, the sounds mixed together, everything about that, to be honest, everything about that is what I really love about this song. And that is where, as a reviewer, I have to be fair, because, look, I love everything about this. I really enjoy the song, really enjoy the variation. This hits all the right marks for me. And, yeah, I think it's got the writing that we love from Sheena Ringo, with the production that was hinted at on Show So Strip but never quite worked out due to some slightly heavy-handed techniques, in my personal opinion. A couple of songs work better than others. It all feels really great. I have to be honest with you, not a big fan of the way it ends. I like it from an experimental standpoint, but I feel like for a song like this that goes between sort of like the distorted bit and then the big classical and distorted bit and the big classical bit, thematically it's interesting to end the song like that, but I do think that maybe the song kind of loses steam about 3.5 to 4 minutes, and the last minute does to me feel a little bit like it kind of drags on, especially for the opening track in an album. It feels so I gotta be honest, it's just my opinion. I feel like that last minute, it's interesting, but I feel like it works it doesn't play well off of the energy of what the song was doing before, like prior to that. That's just my personal opinion. Thematically, I think that I did just double check the lyrics. I think thematically, yes, it's very much in line with the sort of thing that we expect from Sheena Ringo. I think it's getting a little bit more into the deeper existential vibe, getting a little bit of a vibe that's where this album might go. I still think that a lot of my favourite lyrics are probably from Messiah Moratorium, where I think there was a certain degree of matter-of-factness to it, which made it quite cutting. This definitely feels like it's going in a slightly more artistic style of writing. So there's a few things about this where I would say, like with so many opening tracks from albums, you could say I really enjoy it, but a lot of how I feel about it is going to depend on what follows next, what the actual album is that this is opening up. And yeah, I'm very excited for the album. If the point of an intro is to get you excited about the album, I'm very excited about it. And especially considering, I will be honest, I am very aware of the curse of high expectations. I've been looking forward to getting onto this album for a while, and my expectations have been, for whatever reason, quite high. So I feel good about this. This feels like the intro to an album I'm really going to enjoy. So we'll see where it goes. But anyway, those are my thoughts, those are my opinions. As always, get in the comments and let me know what you think. And until I hopefully see you very soon for the next one of these, or any one of my videos, anytime. Until then, for now, ciao, ciao.